Here is more from Mr. Zaid Mohammed.
The fast-spreading Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus poses a particularly significant danger for populations which have lower vaccination rates. And faced with the prospect of increasing fatalities and an alarming number of daily cases, the Keith Rowley government may soon have to consider making vaccinations compulsory, according to Stephen Ramrup, a South-based Trinidad doctor.
Our life is changing, and we have to understand that Trinidad and Tobago, with such a small population, we don't have the capacity like the US, Canada, or in the UK, or even Australia and New Zealand, where we could expand our ICUs and we could get help from another state. We can't do that because each of our Caribbean states are struggling with their own problems. So therefore, we, in my opinion, would have to do like we did for smallpox and polio. We would have to say, look, people, we are trying to help you, but look at the stage we are in now. We are getting an average of 20 persons dying. Well, at least diagnosed as COVID, and they're dying. And we need to do something. We need to tell you to do this. We'll give you some time, and if you don't want to do it, God, man, we'll have to make it compulsory by law.
Dr. Ramrup, who is an orthopedic surgeon, he said the country is now recording the dangerous new variant had low rates of vaccination.
Omicron came from countries where the amount of persons vaccinated was under 35 to 40%. In other words, in a lot of countries, there were only 20%, 8% in some of the countries. So what you have, therefore, is a large number of persons walking around, right, without any immunity. And just a few people walking around with some antibodies which they got from the vaccine.
Making reference to recent statistics that purportedly puts the nation on top of the list of COVID-19 fatalities per 1 million people, Dr. Ramrup said that there should first be a proper audit of the number of registered daily deaths before any conclusions can be drawn.
Some people might look at the data and start saying, "Oh my God, the government is terrible, the people are terrible," and the answer to that is yes and no, because yes, it is high, and it does. There is need for concern because we are in the top 20 or the top 10 right now. That fluctuates on a daily basis, and if we continue the rate we are going, losing 20 to 30 persons a day over the next month, it means that we are in trouble. Our healthcare sector is already overwhelmed. So I dare say that there must be we have to now sit down as a country, although we might look at some of the other countries and say, okay, they're doing that, which is what the Prime Minister did. He actually gave you an understanding of what the other countries are doing. And in other words, then it's not rocket science. He will have to do some of those, if not all of those. And I think that is where we are now.
This is Zaid Mohammed for MCTV News.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. And a little bit later down in our newscast, we will have joining us on the phone line Dr. Rishad Sicharan, MP for Caroni East, to speak with us a bit more about Omicron and the booster shots expected to be administered to the general public. But as we continue now, the Valuation Division has bowed to public pressure and extended the deadline for the submission of returns for owners of residential, commercial, or agricultural properties. The forms were seen as a precursor to the imposition of property taxes, but according to a notice issued today by the Commissioner of Valuations, the deadline has been extended from November 30th, 2021 to January 31st, 2022. The move by the government to institute property tax created a public furor as failure to submit the returns constituted a criminal offense punishable by a fine of $5,000 under Sections 21 of the Valuation of Land Act. The notice of the deadline extension is pursuant to Section 29 of the Valuation of Land Act. In the space of 3 days, another prison officer has been murdered. According to the prison service, prison officers 1 Nigel Jones of Siparia was gunned down at approximately 3 p.m. It said Officer Jones was walking along the high street in Siparia when he was ambushed. Several loud explosions were heard and the lifeless body of Officer Jones was seen lying on the ground. The incident is at present under investigation and more information is forthcoming.
And that's news on U97.5 FM, MCTV, WBH, and Fun Radio. Sponsored by Newsday.
Every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your
some extra delicious coleslaw, crinkle cut fries, potato salad, and a snack box for yourself. Oh, and don't forget that delicious honey mustard sauce. It's really lashing. Okay, Rudolph, let's get that delicious local Trini flavor. Royal Castle, here we come. Royal Castle is the local something that makes it all taste better. Happy holidays from Royal Castle.
I don't know what to say, but good evening. I'm saying good evening. I ain't so sure, cocky, that I say good evening. I don't know what to say because in my life I have never seen anything like so horrendous. I have never seen the country in such a bad state. I've never seen things so terrible. I have never seen this place so painful. I've never seen this place called Trinidad and Tobago in such a devastating time. And I was alive, kicking, and able to decipher things in 1983, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89.
Yes.
Never have things in Trinidad and Tobago.
At the worst.
19. In 4 days, 100 people dead. And we still have ministers, prime minister, government ministers talking with arrogance as if they're doing a bang-up job. Just on Tuesday, a man come out in a tutu suit after telling the population that he's going to address the nation. The whole population waited with bated breath to hear what this leader, what this prime minister, what different, what new, what he would be doing, what he would be saying, what new advice, what new team, what new strategy, rather than just lay down and let people die. And all they got was 44 minutes of abject, total nothing, nonsense from a warped mind. 17 days before that, you had the Attorney General telling the UN Trinidad and Tobago has done better than anybody, than most of the developing countries in its handling of the pandemic. Really? 100 people dead in 4 days? 100 people dead in 4 days, you know. Some 2 and 3 in one family. At least 60 or 70 families mourning loved ones, but they are talking like they are brilliant, they are amazing, they are doing an incredible job. Could they have done worse? Is it possible for the PNM to have done worse in this fight against COVID-19? And then we had to hear the greatest. We had to hear the abject, total, complete failure, the Minister of Health, attacking Dr. Tim Gopi Singh in the most vile, classless, idiotic, nonsensical manner. When Tim Gopi Singh, the United National Congress, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Lakram Bodo, Dr. Rai Ragbir, Dr. Rishi Sicharan, and all others in the UNC, since January 2020, have been showing this government that what they are doing and the decisions they are making and what they are saying and what they are up to is not working, that they're not following the science, that they're playing games with COVID-19, that we are in grave danger, that the borders are porous, that there's not enough testing, not enough contact tracing, that the team that was chosen to lead the fight are but junior doctors, that for something like a pandemic of such a critical nature, you needed a team of elder statesmen, specialists in their fields. You needed to bring the best of the best. How can you say you're going into battle, you're going into a war, and you bring one-star generals or half-star general or no-star general, and you leave 5-star general, you leave 4-star generals on the bench, you leave them home, and you gone into the war zone with a no-star general, you gone in with a major? That could never make sense. And when Tim Gopi Singh way back called for a commission inquiry into the deaths in the ICU, and we have personal experience with it here at U97.5. The managing director, the new owner, the shareholder, Sabalu lost his brother and a policewoman on the same day, and they've been asking questions. How could their oxygen levels go from 92% and 86% when being put under ventilation to them dying of heart failure and heart attack 2 hours later? How can people get answers? We need answers. We are number one in the world on the wrong end. We are number one in the world for the country that is least safe against COVID-19. The country that you are most likely to die of COVID-19 in the entire world, on the planet Earth, 207 sovereign nations, is Trinidad and Tobago. The place that you are most likely to die of COVID-19 is Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago now reach 121 deaths in little tiny Tobago. When it was April, there were 0 cases, 0 infections, no community spread. And a man with a ugly socks, who now come out in a tutu suit, told the whole of Trinidad to come across to Tobago. Tobago is the place to be. And spread COVID-19. So 118 people have died since Rowley invited Trinis across the Tobago to palance on the beach without masks, to have a time. Tobago is the place to be. And now Tobago families, 118 Tobago families, are suffering because of Rowley's criminal negligence in inviting people across to a pristine rock, a pristine bubble that was handling their business. And Tobago was handling their business better than Trinidad, because Tobago had a few doctors who were telling the truth, giving the science and handling. But in comes the clown. In comes the arrogant failure Rowley. usurps control of what Tobago was doing and creates chaos, disaster, death, and this continues unabated. And yet we have this convent girl, this dunce who even in the best of times, even in the healthiest of times, even if our population was exercising and fit, eating well and not drinking too much, he could not be a good minister of health. A total incompetent dunce who... Do you all understand what I'm saying? His entire life experience, his entire being was insufficient to become a doctor. He did not have the skill. The intelligence, the ability, the discipline. Put in charge, and he should not, what was needed, automatically not, because he tried his best, but because he was not good enough. He was found wanting before he swore in on the Bible to be the minister of health. Who would choose such a man? To lead a ministry that saves lives. The balisé, out of all the PNM that will fill the massive balisé, qualified in healthcare systems, medical practitioners, medical doctors, specialists. No one in the PNM. Really? That's the best y'all got? Faux pas after faux pas became the butt of jokes locally, regionally, and internationally. You remained with the idiot. You left the idiot. You didn't think that you should change the idiot, change the direction. Well, I put it to you that the man who selected the idiot is a bigger idiot. The tutu suit man is a bigger idiot. The problem is, this is not just pothole. This is not just dry taps. While dry taps may seem very serious. We could go by the river, we could catch rainwater, we could make something work. We could go and find a standpipe, we could do something, we could suffer, yes, but we ain't go dead. So while road, you might bust your tire. Some people may die, yes, because of the dodging pothole, like the man with the motorbike in Central and so on, and a man dodge a pothole and crash, and yes, those are rare occurrences, but they do bring death. But incompetence in handling a pandemic brings death in the dozens per day. And yet you have an idiot in charge. A total dunce. Why do we go to school? Why am I going through revision with my just turned 7-year-old to take tests? First test in standard 1, first term. Why am I sitting there and going through and explaining concepts mathematical concepts, mental math, grammar, creative writing, social studies, geography, spelling. Why? Because I want her to be intelligent, to use her gray matter to develop and be brilliant so that whatever field she chooses, she could excel. But why bother with that when a dunce could be Minister of Health and people could die and they could still just stay there and talk down to people and be arrogant and criticize people? That's what the PNM is doing. That's the culture they're creating. Don't reward brilliance. You are telling me in all the PNM supporters in all the party groups and across Trinidad and Tobago, them don't have nobody brighter than Convent Girl DouglAR. Don't tell me that, man. It's best you cuss me. It's best you cuss me. So then why? Why leave the dance? Why leave the next dance? Why put dance on dance by dance 3 times to lead a pandemic fight and 100 people dead in 4 days? Why do that? What, because you don't want to look stupid before putting him there in the first place? But you're done looking stupid, Rowley. But your looking stupid is more important than 22 lives per day, 25 lives per day, average 25 lives per day for the last 4 days, 100 deaths. And you know what the clown DouglAR come out to say? That Tim Gopi Singh got COVID, and that is Miriam Abdul Richards, Parashram, Avery Hines, and whoever else who saved his life. And therefore, Tim Gopi Singh should be forever beholden to them who saved his life and not speak up. Now, that is the most asinine statement in the history of medical press conferences. But let's pretend, let's start at a ridiculous position. Let's say DouglAR, you're right. Let's say that you're right. That Tim Gopi Singh's life was saved by PNM doctors Avery Hines, Abdul Richards, and Parsa. Let's pretend that that's right. Them don't go and go in no COVID. Them not on the front line. Them not administering. Them not putting ventilator in. Them not injecting things. Them not getting metal and prednisone. Them ain't doing nothing. But let's pretend for a moment that you are correct. That Tim Gopi Singh didn't dead because of something Miriam Angostura, White Oak saleswoman, Abdul Richards, Avery Culture Fund Hines, or Parasram honorary doctorate for death. Let's say there's something they did and Tim Gopi Singh survived COVID-19. So your position is that Tim Gopi Singh survived, but 220 people did not. So Tim Gopi Singh should hush him out and thank the Lord that he survived and not be upset the other 2,120 people didn't make it. Really? That's your point? So you are saying if there are 2,121 children taking an exam and one pass and 2,119 fail, that we should big up the teacher? Do you see what an idiot you are, DouglAR? You are such a complete and total dunce. It is not funny. So Tim survived. We have the highest death rate in the world. 2,119 other people dead. So Tim Gopi Singh as a specialist doctor who resume thicker than your eyebrow when you forget to pluck it. Who resume has so much letters you could call it a next alphabet. Tim Gopi Singh, a specialist among specialists, who knows what is wrong and what the system is, and who is junior doctor, and who know what they're doing, and who doing nonsense, and people are dying. Your convent girl position is that Tim Gopi Singh did not dead, so shut up. Remember, I gave you all a story about when kidnapping was high back in 2007, and I was on the radio, and kidnapping all over the place, and two Nat brothers or something had been kidnapped somewhere up in Grandy or somewhere. And I came on the radio Vex with Sprang Alang, Dennis Hall, aka Sprang Alang, and Christopher Sion. And I went off because I was saying, boy, kidnapping is a hell of a thing. It's not only the victim who is kidnapped. The victims are the mother, the father, the sister, the brother, the family, the wife, the children, the nephew, the grandchildren, the whole family, whole neighborhood. Everybody suffer the pain from every hour that that person remains kidnapped. The worry, the fear, the stress. And I going on. And a PNM caller call, Enterprise call. And I say, hello. He say, Roberts, what happened to you? I say, good afternoon. He say, what happened to you? What you vexed for? I say, I'm vexed because people, I just explained kidnapping, this thing getting really serious. The government had to do something about it. This is madness. He say, your child get kidnapped? I say, what? He say, they kidnap your children? I do so. I say, knock on wood. No, thank the Lord, no. He said, then what the hell you vexed for? The Alsing is using the same PNM logic. What the hell Gopi Singh vexed for? Because he live. So he should not be vexed. Because 2,120 people dead. When he knows that they could have been saved. He knows that if you have specialists in charge, that some of these lives could have been saved. He knows that what is going on in the ICU is wrong. He knows that we have the highest death rate in the ICU and HDU. He knows that these junior doctors who looking for pips and playing politics and licking K-packs are useless. He knows that the best of the best are not being utilized. They're being lied upon. They're being transferred out because they can discern nonsense from sense. So the Al Singh's position is that Tim Gopi Singh live, so he should shut up. Really? Really, Dial Singh? And let me take a point, a second point. Let me make a second point on your stupidity, that Dial Singh. So Abdul Richards, Hines, and Parasram, honorary doctorate of death, must take credit for saving Tim Gopi Singh life. Full credit. 100% credit. So much credit that that Tim Gopi Singh should shut his mouth and don't see anything wrong with other people dying. Well, let me ask you this, convent girl. If they're taking 100% credit for saving Tim life, how come you're not giving them 100% credit for all that dead? (218-7762). 218-7762. This country had to be a joke. Had to be a big joke. To have an arrogant dunce in charge of the worst pandemic response in the history of the globe. Our death rate is the highest in the world. Going to our ICU, you had to dress up casket sharp. You had to borrow tutu suit from that clown prime minister. Borrow his tutu suit and go in the ICU because you're bound to dead. (218-7762). 218-7762. Good evening. 218-7762. Keep trying, keep trying. It's coming. We have a little problem with the phones. So that's his point. So Tim Gopi Singh must not use his education, his understanding, his years in the system, his flawless record, his knowledge of systems, of ICU, of care, of how to save lives, how to bring people back from the brink, the care, the attention necessary. He must say nothing because he had COVID-19 and he survived. So Convan Girl position is Tim Gopi Singh must shut up.
Yeah.
Because Abdul Richards saved Tim Gopi Singh life. And Heinz saved Gopi Singh life. Well, if you're giving them all the credit, how come you ain't give them credit for all the dead? Good evening.
Good evening, Anil. Welcome back, man. Your hosts were very, very good.
They were absolutely brilliant, yes.
Sarah, Ruti, Tomato, Chokan, Sain on the line. Anil, we have reached.
Oh, Lord, what's going on with the lines? Something going on. Keep trying. We have a little bug in the line. 218-7762. 218-7762. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What happened there? I got cut off?
I don't know what's happening. Something going on. Nobody ain't touched nothing, but go ahead.
There's a PNM inside there somewhere. Listen to me. They call it on themselves. They wanted to be number one. And they got it in the Rukung Kuntung. It is sad. Now, that is all because this man won the election, right? In Tobago. How many lives is he willing to sacrifice for that election? When he reversed the SOE, the death was 107. That is about 10, 12 days ago. So as of yesterday, it is 120. So 13 deaths. So it looked like he getting 3 every 2 days. The thing is, he got 4 last evening, and that is sad. The other thing I'm hearing around the place, Anil, and this is what I need those people to ask, as you say. I will call him Honorable Minister of Health. You go call in the Convan Girl. Listen to this. I am hearing, and my sources is pretty good. The majority of people seem to take, but I'm hearing that, and everybody's panicking now. Because you know there's a 1 shot, 2 shot, and a 3 dose. What they're saying, if you have 2 doses of Sinopharm, the likelihood you must not take the 2 doses of Sinopharm. You have to take a Moderna or Pfizer, mix and match. The other thing is, you remember the vaccine Vegan Pimpanian went early o'clock and took a 2 dose? I wonder if it was a Sinopharm. We have to find out that because I think it's causing a real lot of concern with the medical fraternity on this Sinopharm. Go and have a nice night.
Have a good night. Well, that's a very interesting thing, and they also brought in more Sinopharm. Plus, Keith Christopher Rowley and Convan Girl were telling us, right through, that brands of vaccine don't matter. But now we're seeing that brands matter, that brands make a difference, that the efficacy that you have is determined by the brand that you have. So even Pfizer, which is the best, after 6 months, you can drop from 96% efficacy down to 76%, and you need a booster. If you're on the Sinopharm and you take that, after 2 months, you're dropping down to about 58, 59%, and you need a 3rd dose. Good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Gaffett, they push him to get that work the government, push him to get a commissioner,
All right, we're talking COVID-19 right now. Thank you. Try to follow the topic. We could talk different thing, constitutional crisis at another time. Right now we're trying to understand and formulate because you see, Corky.
Yes.
To fight a pandemic, first of all, you need trust.
Yes.
Okay. Trust in the government, trust in the leaders, trust in those who are telling you what to do, who are making laws, who are making decisions. You must have trust. how do you build that trust in a population? You build that trust, first of all, by putting people who know in charge.
Right.
So if you start off by putting the Minister of Health, who is in charge, not being a specialist doctor, not having the education, there is no respect and trust already.
Yes.
You start at a deficit. Then that minister talks one bag of nonsense after the next, time and time again, so much so that there's enough footage to go for 20 minutes on bloopers of this idiot. That will not get people to trust. Then you must talk the truth and the science. Science does not change with opinion. Science does not change between you and me, Corky. Science does not change between those in the cabinet and those on the ground.
Right.
Science, infection, the science of fighting it, the science of winning, it does not change. But here in Trinidad and Tobago, anytime Rowley involved, the science change. So when he get a contact, it gone down from 14 days to 3 days. And then they tell him and they say, and then he gone there and he drink a Gatorade for 5 hours. They say, nah, he had to hug up the woman for 15 consecutive minutes. But other people, in the rest of the last 20 months, going in quarantine, if they went by a grocery, they may know where you went, you know. You don't even know if you went in the same aisle, but you was in the grocery. So you had to go 14 days. You was in the classroom, you was in the office, you was in the bank, and you had to go your 14 days. But Rowley received COVID-19 Gatorade, play golf for 6 hours with the Gatorade, put it in his mouth, drink it, and he could just jump on a plane and go Scotland because there's no need for quarantine. What nonsense. I'm just giving you a few examples. Nobody trusts Rowley, nobody trusts Convent Girl, nobody trusts these junior doctors, and then now you bring out one, you parade she, and right in front of the world, the Prime Minister start to flirt with she from the first press conference, and I on DouglAR Politics say, what she go move on up, she go be the boss lady, because Rowley is a pum-pum governor. I said that from the first press conference, when she come out, Rowley so sick, he so cannot even hide his sickness. All he talk about, all you go back and check and don't make Anil don't lie one day on Rowley. Go back to the very first press conference that Dr. Miriam Abdul Richards came out. And go and listen to the hour and 50 minutes and see how many times Rowley said Dr. Richards and Dr. Richards, and he ignored Dr. Hines and he ignored Dr. Parasam because he liked the pum-pum. And so far you see that come true. She's not a star. She's a star girl. It is not about star girl. We not no star girl. There's not no VIP fete. This is not Fatima fete where you get the best food and drinks with mash up the place, bungee and fan. This is serious business.
People lives involved.
And he started to put she on extra board. She done on 3 PNM, but now she's Angostura board. So she's the PMO, head medical officer, telling we drink rum. When drinking rum does get people sick and make the health sector, the investment in the health sector increase multiple times. But that's what they do, so there is no trust. You then come now and you're talking vaccines. And you start to pretend you don't give information, you don't discuss, you have no communication strategy, you do not educate, you do not go out and get a variety, a cocktail of vaccinations. When India giving out AstraZeneca, you say you don't beg, you're not a beggar. Pfizer become available. Convent Girl, the idiot, was doing a good one. That was the one good thing he was doing, going to get the Pfizer. Rowley come and catch Spradley and tell him don't bother with that. We going with Sinopharm because they signed in a loan with the Chinese. The Ugandan airport now belongs to China because they default on a loan from China. So Uganda, them flying Chongqing Airways, understand what's going on. And that is what is going to take place in this country across the board. But then now they wanted this Xiao. And when we were saying, listen, what is this? There is less testing on this Sinopharm. There is less information. The media in China is not known to be the most vigorous. There is oppression of facts and so on from China. Why you putting all your eggs in this Sinopharm basket? Why not get a lot of different vaccines for people so that people could read, research, and go and take their vaccine? Rowley decided he burning fire on all the vaccines. He ridiculed Pfizer and said, you all think it's a Rolls Royce, but it's not. All are the same. And just go and take your vaccine, and we will not be talking brand. We will just be talking vaccine because all are the same. Do you know today there's an ad running with Paul Keynes Douglas on 96.7 them PNM station? Up to today, the ad with Paul Keynes Douglas is telling people all brands are the same. You know, they don't worry about that. Just go and take your vaccine. All of them doing the same thing. That is not true. That is definitely not true. Different brands do different things. And we're seeing it now. And you're seeing that the Sinopharm, the testing, because every day more science, more information comes out, shows that after 2 months of your 2 full doses, where you thought you were well protected up in the 80s, 81, 84%, they show that after 2 months, your percentage protection drops somewhere below 60, 55%. And therefore you need a third shot, not a booster. You need 3 doses to be full on the Sinopharm. The Pfizer, which is the Rolls Royce by the science, it has the full approval. It also has full approval for children aged 12 to 18. But even the Pfizer, while you might be 97% 14 days after your second shot, they are seeing now that after 6 months, that drops from a high of 96% to 76%. And therefore you need a booster at 6 months to get it and keep it up there. But notice none of these things have said 100%. But yet the government has been saying all of a sudden 100% vaccination, what? But you created safe zones and you did not tell the population that those who had their so-called safe zone card with Sinopharm, of which was the major portion, because the #1 vaccine coming in Trinidad and Tobago, and the #1 vaccine injected into people is Sinopharm. So if people started to get the Sinopharm in May, and they got the second dose mid-May, end of May, and those who took it in mid-May, end of June, so May, June, July, you start to get lots of Sinopharm. And Raul is telling everybody it's all the same. June, July, August, September, October. October into November, so-called safe zone. So I have my card, fully vaccinated, 2 doses of Sinopharm. But the science, now they know I wasn't really fully vaccinated because too much time passed. So after 14 days of my second dose, I was vaccinated. Good enough, 80-something%. But 2 months after, so if I get my second dose June, July, August, September, I hear. So you give me a fully vaccinated card, tell me go and balance, go and eat, go and dine, safe zone, is them unvaccinated, is them is the killers, them and now 645 fully vaccinated people in hospital. Now the other thing that they said, correct, that when you get vaccinated, your symptoms, the likelihood of your symptoms getting so serious that you require hospitalization is diminished. Not eliminated, but diminished. And that's at full efficacy of your full dose. Okay? I am at 2 months on my Pfizer. So by December, January, February, March, I had to take a booster. Because I will not be at 96%. I will be down at 76%. And I had to take the booster to come back up. And I the Rolls Royce one, I the best one. But why you not sharing the truth with people? Because you're coming to say that all this death and devastation is because of the unvaccinated. Really? Well, then answer me this, because I'm a logical thinker and a logical person. If in April, March or April, our vaccination rate was 0.
Right.
Right? Now in November, heading to December, we are at 46% population fully vaccinated. How come the infection rate is so high? How come the infection rate is 10 times that of April? How come the death rate is 20 times that of April? If 45, because remember, as you get up to herd immunity, you're supposed to see a downward trend in your infectious rate. So between 0% fully vaccinated and 45%, and state of emergency, lockdown, shutdown, and brockdown, we have seen no dip in our infectious rate. In fact, our infectious rate is now skyrocketing. Explain to me, since it is the vaccinated, the unvaccinated who killing people and so on, explain that to me. But you all cannot explain anything because you have played games with the science. No one trusts you. The vaccine hesitancy in Trinidad and Tobago is the highest. People are going now to try and get it because they're just so deathly afraid. They don't know what to do because everybody dying. We have the highest death rate in the world. The one place that people will say do not go because you could die of COVID is Trinidad and Tobago. And yet we have a tutu suit man come for 44 minutes to say he's the best. A tutu suit man says he left a dunce who could not even study to become a doctor as the Minister of Health in a war against a deadly disease and people are dying, but he leaves him there. He leaves his incompetent general. And his incompetent general, and let me just clear up something, Eddie Alsing. He had a whole press conference saying that Tim Gopi Singh attacked your doctor team, Abdul Richards, Hines, and Parashram. Well, first of all, Kamla Prasad Bisesa said months ago that they should have been fired. And when I mean months ago, let me tell you in a better timing. 1,400 deaths ago, Kamla Prasad Bisesa told the nation that those doctors appointed by the PNM, those junior doctors who were talking nonsense, leading the losing to the pandemic, should have been removed and replaced with highly specialized, brilliant people and new team. That was 1,400 deaths ago. The Express editorial come out and says, Kamla, how could you bad talk these doctors? They're trying their best. And death? Trying their best is for a football game. Manchester United, my team, trying we best, but we get licks. But nobody here dead. We lost. We cry. We depressed. But nobody here dead. Trying your best is not for life and death. Trying your best is not when you going for cardiovascular surgery. You go choose a surgeon that tried his best in school but failed. Would you? You can't, because they wouldn't even be allowed to be a surgeon. So trying your best is not for healthcare. Trying your best is not for a fight of a pandemic. Trying your best is not for protecting a society from death and devastation. Putting your best. Claiming that there are no others better. When you have a team fighting a pandemic, you must be able to say, this is Dr. Mr. You know them doctors, when they over-specialize, they just reach back to Mr. Yeah. In London and so on, Mr. They go on past doctor. Them so specialized, they come back to Mr. You need about 5 of that. You need about 6 other specialists. And you say, this is my team. I listen to them. We follow their instructions because these 5-star generals have done it. They know it. They're in it. And they give us the best chance of survival. You don't come to tell we, oh, good, she cute, eh? Oh, Lord, pum nice. You know, I'm going to push you on a board. Yes, listen to them. They're the best, really. And we dying. When does the Commission of Inquiry into Criminal Negligence begin? When does it begin? And let's be clear, Dial Singh, before we reach Abdul Richards, Parasram and Hines, let us be clear. Tim Kopi Singh didn't skip Rowley and you and reach them, you know. So let me clarify for the record. The first one who is the total incompetent clown who has led us to death and destruction in Trinidad and Tobago, being the number one place in the world. If you want to die of COVID, jump on a Caribbean Airlines, buy a ticket to Port of Spain. And if you want, dip in Scarborough too, because Rowley infect both islands. If you want to die of COVID, come Trinidad and Tobago. So number one man who getting blamed by Tim Gopi Singh, the UNC and the country is Keith Christopher Rowley. The number two idiot who in charge of the losing is you, your convent girl dunce the thing. You are next in line. As it worst, most incompetent should be fired, gotten rid of, to never return to this country. Number three is Devlin Thomas, who you put, the man who should be putting on a play and letting we watch girl and wine on a boom boom. And then, after that, we come to Parasram, Abdul Richards, and Hines. So don't get tied up. Don't get tied up like a market crab, delicing. Cocky, we're going to take a little break.
Yes.
And we're coming back. And let me tell you something. I need a break. I need to go to Tobago after the election when PNM get blown out and relax. And I go in Grand Kula Hotel and Spa. I go in and relax. Go in the pool. Take a swim. That big pool over 30 meters long. Swim up and down. Get my belly down. Then go and eat steak in the restaurant and relax. Go in the spa. Go and work out in the gym. Go down by Waves. Restaurant and bar at Black Rock. Get a beautiful dinner. Romantic. See the moon. Go in the moon in the sky. Glittering on the water just outside Grafton Beach Resort. That beach with beautiful water from Tobago. And sit down there and dine. Because I'm fully vaxxed. So I could go make an appointment, make a reservation, and eat at Waves Restaurant and Bar in Tobago. We'll be back.
Me? I need some Royal Castle.
Yeah!
The voice of the people is the voice of God. The tables are turning, your eyes are opening. Welcome to the revolution.
People crying out for justice. Some of them crying out for freedom.
We want freedom.
Everybody crying out for democracy.
Democracy's under attack.
Now it's time to take a stand. Yeah.
Come on!
Cause this is the revolution. The people's revolution. This is the revolution. Let's unite and stand for something. This is the revolution. The people's revolution. This is the revolution. I wanna hear everybody sing. Everybody sing freedom. Man and woman sing freedom. Everybody sing freedom. Freedom. Everybody sing freedom. Man and woman sing freedom. Everybody sing freedom. Everybody sing.
As we move in this people's revolution, my brothers and sisters, let's all walk together as one. This revolution is about restoring our democracy. And this revolution is about stopping this creeping dictatorship. This is the people's revolution.
Come on, people. Come on, people.
Let's move.
Come on, people.
Come on.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. People crying out for justice. Some of them crying out for freedom. Everybody crying out for democracy. Now it's time to take a stand. Yeah.
Come on.
Cause this is the revolution. The people's revolution.
Multicultural Radio. Rowley favorite thing steak. Listen, don't put me and Rowley in nothing. But yes, I love a good steak, especially if it's a good cut. Medium, just below medium, soft, melting in your mouth. You can eat that steak without anything else. You can get that at Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach Resort, and also at the Grand Coulon Hotel and Spa in Tobago. A steak. Rowley favorite thing is diving in the treasury and swimming with all your money. And we're saying hello, good evening to Ross Johan. This oppressive and incompetent regime has failed miserably in the handling of COVID. We have Parvati Ali trying your best is not when lives are at stake. Exactly. Marlon St. John says so true. Well said, my brother Trevor Swan. All of that. Parvati Ali again, Dexter Balkran. We can call in 218-7762. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Anil.
Hello.
Good evening. Mr. Anil, you talk about the Sinopharm and the question of communication in this country. Communication is one way, It's the government telling you what you must do. You can't ask any question. When they say go and take a third dose of Sinopharm, the media is not going to ask them, well, why am I going to take a third dose of this vaccine? Why it has become necessary for me to do that? Nobody tells you. Nobody tells you what is the efficacy of that Sinopharm at this date. And after 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, what is the level, what is the percentage efficacy of that vaccine? You can't ask no question. The media, the so-called media in Trinidad and Tobago, don't even ask that. So you just go and do what we tell you. We say jump on a boat and go in Tobago, ferry, Tobago is the place, and you just jump on a boat and you go on up the road. This is the kind of thing in this country here. I don't know how people in this country become so docile, become so gullible. I can't understand, like zombies. Nobody asks a question. Why are you telling me now to go and take a third dose of Sinopharm? It is not a booster, but it's a third dose, and nobody asks any question.
Well
Thanks
said.
for the international media. You're able to know about Sinopharm and not Sinopharm, Pfizer and Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson. But we know nothing about that Sinopharm.
Thank you, my brother. And you're correct, but that's the point. To build trust, you must converse, you must convince, you must discuss. You can't just talk down to people and tell them, and everything you are saying is proven to be wrong. You tell we brand don't matter, brand matter. You tell we safe, we not safe. You tell we ICU bed, we dead in. You tell we borders safe now, boy. If you see by the health centers across Trinidad and Tobago, is plenty Venezuelan not even talking English, going for vaccine now, scrambling, right? Where they came from, where they passed through the airport, where the 200,000 passed. You come now to commission 2 boats and say, right, we safe now. So we wasn't safe. The 2 boat now commission. It now had diesel. So you are saying we were unsafe for the last 20 months of a pandemic. Good evening.
Good night. Good night, Anil.
Good night.
Well, everybody like not only you, but everybody on fire. Everybody eyes open to standing up strong, tall, to deal with the situation other than the COVID. But we want to thank Dialsin for taking those personal money to help go fishing recover. Go fishing like he wasn't paid for any treasury, anything to the treasury. But anyhow, what I want to say, you don't train young people for the past. You train young and educate young people for the future. You see? So there's a lot of country, and one suggestion to help our people. I could be a doctor too. They take it anybody and make them doctor. You too, and you could be a doctor and cooking. You could get as a send out your children, or even all you're coming out. When they come out, get a reasonable cough syrup. It will be expensive, and as the children leaving, and probably you leaving, You take a teaspoon, teaspoon full, and
All right.
drink it. It will assist you.
Okay, well, no, let me just cool it. This show is about science, all right? We're not on no just what you feel, all right? So, so when we want to have any advice, we will call Dr. Tim Gopi Singh. We will call Dr. Lakram Bodo, Rai Ragbir. We'll call Dr. Rishi Sicharan. We ain't want no fly spray in your eye to do this and do that, okay? Let me keep the thing real. 218-7762. So Rowley and them now commission,
Yes.
right? 2 vessels that reached here about 2-3 months ago, and they say, oh Lord, look, the panacea, we safe now. You know the Guardian print that? Hello, good evening.
Even Mr. Anil, what does the citizens of this country could do to demand a general election?
Nothing, unless you come out and protest. And even if you come out and protest, they ignore you, they ignore me, they ignore everybody. The only person who could call a general election is the Prime Minister. That is the stupidity of our Constitution.
Wow.
So the man doing nonsense is the man who could trigger an election. You ever hear more stupidity? So nothing is working because he in charge. People dying because Rowley in charge. People have no jobs because Rowley in charge. The energy sector collapsed because Rowley in charge. We have no foreign exchange because Rowley in charge. We have no foreign direct investment because Rowley in charge. We have no jobs because Rowley in charge. With the roads bad because Rowley in charge. We have no water because Rowley in charge. We're going to pay more for gas because Rowley in charge. We have no tourism because Rowley in charge. We dying from COVID because Rowley in charge. The borders porous because Rowley in charge.
So if somebody...
And we can't do nothing because it's only Rowley could call an election to move Rowley.
So if a man attack me, Anil, and I see he hit me one chuck, I'ma just stand up and chuck me and let him kill me?
Well, my brother, unfortunately, the Constitution that the PNM gave us in 1961 into 62, when there was no consultation, they throw down men. They tell men in January 1962 at the consultation, no media. Ashford Sidanan begged to discuss. The Law Association say we cannot make our comments in 5 minutes. The entire opposition said this constitution is nonsense. It does not take into consideration the multicultural aspects of Trinidad and Tobago. Ellis Clark and Dr. Williams said this is what we have, this is what we're going with, and this is what we are trained to follow. So, unfortunately, Corky, to use your example, the man who is choking you is in charge of making the police, in charge of charging himself. So using your example, the man who choking you,
the man hit me one.
Right, 1, 2, 3, more choke. He is in charge of charging himself. He is in charge of putting himself in jail. He is in charge of the whole country while he's choking you. That's our constitution. That's the sad part. So when you get a chance to vote, and you vote nonsense, and you vote based on who have afro and who have long hair, and you vote on who brown and who black, and you vote on my party red, and you dance at chogo chogo. Because if you see dance in Tobago, they have a set of young people dancing to beautiful PNM songs, waving flag. But I ask these beautiful Tobagonians, what you voting for PNM for? The song nice, the rhythm nice, the music nice. But what you voting for PNM in Tobago for? The economy has shrunk 24% in the last 4 years. Tourism has gone to zero. Tourism had dropped to 17% of what it was before COVID. The sea bridge had collapsed under the PNM. There is no diversification of the economy in Tobago. The PNM has disrespected Tobago. There's no extra water. People still have to carry bucket of water home in Tobago. Fishermen have no regular gas to go and fish in Tobago. There's no marina in Tobago. There's no gas station for fishermen other than around the Scarborough side. All the others from Charleville come around, have nowhere to go and squeeze gas into their boat. They had to put gas in bottle, put in car, in taxi, and take it out and swim out to their boat. There is no diversification of the economy in Tobago. There's no investment in all Tobago's hotel rooms to get them up to 5-star. Over the last 6 years, there's been no investment in marketing Tobago. There's been not one foreign direct investment in Tobago. What exactly are you voting for PNM for? While the song is nice, it's a catchy tune, and you know I like my local music. What you voting for?
Is it promises?
But okay, let me ask it this way. You with your wife 21 years. And for 21 years, you're bringing home the check after you pass by the casino and you lost 60% of the money.
Right.
And for 21 years, you're coming home after midnight and you're smelling of some other woman perfume.
Right.
For 21 years, you're getting vexed with the lady when the lentil peas had too much salt. For 21 years, when you really get angry, you pelt a lash at your wife. For 21 years, you have she doing all the homework, all the thing, all the extracurricular with the children, and you going about your business to play wappy and cards with your boys. For 21 years, when you reach home, you cock up your toe jam foot on the couch. Well, for 21 years, when the woman clean up the whole place and so on, you dragging your friends and thing and nasty up the whole house. For 21 years, you pay the bills late and the electricity does cut every 8 months. For 21 years, you don't pay the water bill and you just get cut and she's had to go and walk quite down by the standpipe and fill 2 buckets per 20 minutes, and she need 10 buckets per day to do she walk and cook and so on. For 21 years, you doing she that. She eventually get fed up by you. She eventually say, no more cocky. Yeah. I can't take no more. And you going to come to she after 21 years and say, I promise I will stop drinking. I promise I will stop gambling. I promise I wouldn't raise my hand again. I promise I will pay the bills on time. I promise the water wouldn't get cut. I promise I wouldn't play wappy. I promise I wouldn't hug up them girl and then knock my back. I promise girl I gonna be good. I promise I gonna clean the house. I promise I gonna take care of the children with you girl. I promise I gonna go and lift bucket and bring water with you girl. And she gonna take you on? Or she gonna tell you, cocky, go and scratch. 218-7762. That's what the people promise. 21 years of PNM pain. 21 years of PNM incompetence. 21 years in Tobago of PNM nonsense. Promise? It ain't no race in Tobago, you know. It ain't no 38% Indian, 38% African, you know, where you could play race stupidness. It's Franco-meant African, 86%. Tobagonian does make decision and based on sense. You come in and telling Tobagonian, think bad, think hard, think terrible. It go get worse under somebody else. That your line? That your strategy? Vote for change. We as PNM, look, we change 5 candidates. That was, I say the song nice. There are some young people dancing, hey, nice tune. What are you voting for PNM for? Seriously, what are you voting for? Tell me one thing in Tobago the PNM do that you could say, hey, I'm voting for the PNM.
I think I heard something in the news about some more PC pep job or something.
That is something? Or that's called bribery. Bringing $50 million. Oh, we're going to give you something. You know what $50 million divided up into all them hotel room and thing is? About 9,000 TT per room. What you going to do in a hotel room that is 400 square foot, have bed, 4 walls, glass door, balcony, toilet, shower, TV, paintings, and so on. What $9,000 going to do? A good bed in a hotel must, with mattress, must be about $7,000. With a Sealy Posturepedic. You understand? What you going to do with $9,000? You going to pay in the room? Look, 218-7762. PNM feel people stupid, but people are not stupid. 218-7762. But they come now, right? Rowley Commission 2 boat and say no excuse now, Coast Guard. All you must keep we safe, keep the border safe. 2 boat?
Yes.
Gentlemen, this piper is playing the wrong tune, and they are full dancing. I can't go out of time without music. Good night.
Good night. You can dance. So a man come to say, Rowley say, look, he commissioned the 2 vessels that he went down with small pen and spent, and not only that, you know.
Yes.
They say they get it with a grant. Where the grant? How much grant? They didn't get no grant. They spend your taxpayer money, they lie about grant, bring 2 boats, and say, aha, we border safe. Really? So if it only took 2 boats to keep the borders safe, and COVID-19 over the last 20 months has come in through the porous borders and killed over 2,100 people, then you should resign, because you could not get them 2 boats 20 months ago. You could not lease 2 boats. You could not borrow 2 boats from the USA. You could not beg for 2 boats. Since it's only 2 boats you need to keep the borders locked down.
Yeah.
The 141 porous points. Since this 2 boats, now we had these 2 boats. We safe, no more COVID. Brazilian variant come in and kill 1,200. Delta variant come in and killing the next 1,200. Rowley say we safe because it had 2 boats.
Yes.
So no helicopter, no air guard, no army camp, no army vehicle, no police roadblock, no health officials, no radar.
Good afternoon, Senator Robert.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm fine, and how are you doing?
I'm not doing too well because we have a dunce in a tutu suit in charge of us.
Oh, yeah, I am aware of that. And also we have a fool as a health minister who is competing for his looks with Abdul Richards. Did you see his latest mask?
Yes.
Attire?
He looking for pum pum.
He is one.
No, my pum pum is a good thing, man. He is a pum.
Let me tell you something. On the topic of the boat, what happened to the APT James? We call that Georgia. What happened to the Galleon Passage? Those are almost brand new vessels, and they seem non-functional. Is there warranty on those vessels, any of them? And the other one, the Boko, taking 7 hours when it's ready to come back from Tobago. What the bacchanal is that?
Is that true?
Yeah, the other day it took nearly 7 hours to come back. They say it had some...
Oh, it had some problem, some mechanical problem outside there, yes. This brand new vessel. You spend $500 million on a vessel and it had a mechanical problem?
And they're threatening the Coast Guard to do better. Imagine that. No, I want to ask...
But let me ask you this.
Certainly.
Over the last 6 years, they cut the budget of diesel by over 400% compared to what Kamla Prasad Bisesa was paying for diesel for the Coast Guard. So, if they have no diesel to put in these boats, where the boat and them going?
Well, they're probably buying oil. They're going to roll them.
Hey, PNM real feel we stupid, you know.
The Coast Guard was consulted before they purchased these vessels. Where is the feasibility study? Where does that lie? Where can I find that?
In small pin K-Pax.
And I want to ask the Honorable former Senator Martin Daly, if he was a senator still today, what would his position have been with respect to the procurement legislation, seeing that he is so interested in defending Vera, that imbecile?
No, I don't think he defend Martin Daly. Didn't defend Vera, did he?
Yes, he came out in defense of the Senate, and he was, he was saying that the Senate is not PNM and stuff like that. But
No. He talking about in the past. He didn't come out and defend that nonsense. I am no fan of Martin Daly, but I have not seen him defend Vera and their nonsense.
But I would really like to know his position. Were he still in the Senate?
On the procurement,
What would he have contributed with respect to procurement? Would it have been advisable for the taxpayers' money to be spent nilly-willy? Remember this phrase, I beg you. What the PNM can't thief, they squander. Just remember, that is the motto, what we can't thief, we're going to squander.
And they just call other people thief.
They're mad. Forget that, no, man.
Have a great evening.
You have a great afternoon.
And he makes some good points. Right? An independent senator voting to take eyes off your money, to make it easier to steal your money. Think about that. Just think about that. First of all, think about a government that will take the time to go through a bill that had been passed, that had plenty security features for your money. They will take the time, scour that document, and make it weaker so that it becomes easier to thief your money. Right? And an independent senator will vote for the government to thief money more easily. Good evening. Hello.
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 Anil, good evening.
Good evening.
Anil, this man should have about 45 votes, not 2 years. You were going for a spin. You can't think to run here now.
What happened in Port of Spain?
With all the flood and thing over the weekend, he should have about 45 votes.
You're right. 218-7762, 218-7762. So Rowley said no excuses to the Coast Guard. You have the 2 boats, the 2 cutlass vessels that I went down, drink scotch and eat shrimps with Stuart Smallpin Young, and I got these vessels for you. No audit, no requirement, no request from the Coast Guard. I went down there with my small pin. I buy 2 big vessels, 2 ferry, and I take 2 cutlass on the side. Like I buy in steak with fries and corn. So no excuses. Really? So just 2 vessels protects the border. That's it. That's the security dome. If it was so easy, why you let all of we dead from Brazilian variant and Delta variant then? Hello, good evening.
What? going on?
What going on?
Well, why I call you, I feel like you need about 400 again to make 2,500, so you get some money again from America.
Oh Lord, I saw that, but that is pressure, boy. That is very sad.
Yeah, boy. I don't know again, boy. Anyway, I make candles for you 6 years. I say, I keep in wake there from the PNM there. I keep in wake on until the 6th.
Nah, them don't deserve no wake.
You sure right?
Just let them dead quiet. All right, my brother. Blessings. Don't waste your candle.
All right, mash your head and squeeze the tail.
218-7762. Good evening. Hello.
I'm again just one more minute. I want to. I'm thinking about going to Tobago over the weekend, paddle by. Do you think it's okay to do so? You understand? Because you see now it's only poor people that travel on the ferry. Tobago people, be careful. Trigger people are going to and from Tobago. They'll interrupt everything that is taking place. Thank you. Have a good night.
Rowley and them say Watson Duke using the PSA in Tobago to campaign. So what Penny Becker's doing in Tobago? Big picture, eh? Big picture Penelope Becker's in Tobago. She from Tobago? What's she doing there? She's not the MP for Rima. Who all you feel? PNM feel them own the country, And let me tell you something. I half Tobago. Then my father is Al Roberts, son of Luther Roberts. So, in case all you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Good evening.
Good afternoon, Senator.
Good
One
evening.
more question I would like to ask. Earlier I wanted to ask. Why are we renting buildings to house the Public Service Commission, while at the same time we are dismantling the public service with idiotic bills like the Revenue Authority and all of that nonsense? It doesn't make sense to me. And what's the purpose of having the towers on the waterfront empty and we renting buildings from other people? No. Does that fall under procurement, or is it possible you could ask?
Well, it does. And you made a good point, because the entire tower built by the PNM is empty. And yet you're renting out Al-Rawi's building that's now gone up to 46 million because it's renewed. The contract 3 years gone, so our next 3 years, 23 by 2 is 46 plus 38 million to outfit it, while you have government rent-free space empty.
But then at the end of the day, why are we renting buildings to house the Public Service Commission when we go in with authorities? We don't need them buildings. We have no public service soon if the government gets their way with them gutted bills that they bring into Parliament and we seem powerless to do anything. I mean, when Gary was there, he missed the opportunity to lock up the backside. Now he's crying. But he missed the opportunity.
He had the opportunity, he missed it because now they get rid of him and they make sure that he can't come back. That is PNM for you.
Not only that, when he was the Commissioner of Police, he thought he was the Congress of the People. And when he was the Congress of the People, he thought he was the Commissioner of the Police. That man real confused, you know. Somebody had to help Gary. He don't know. He don't know if...
No, but it's very sad, because it is very sad. Because a man was trying to do his work.
He's not part of the solution. He was always part of the problem.
Gary was trying to keep we safe, but the PNM say we safety is not important. Rowley must control the police commissioner, and Rowley now is the de facto police commissioner, because all of them who lining up, all of them up in Rowley K-Pax, all of them fighting for Balize more than Rowley. So Rowley now controls the police. God bless all you. Have a good evening. You understand? That people may think it's a funny joke, but you have a scum bucket like Rowley, a low-class individual who would ridicule a former prime minister who was sick and claim that it is he who put spirit lash on him from Lake Koto. A man who, as a teacher, impregnated a girl of school age. A man who went in the parliament and lied on the place for an hour and 15 minutes and continue lying on people, accusing them of conspiracy to murder, conspiracy to pervert the course of justice and so on. That's a man who now you give dictatorial powers, controls the EBC. In Tobago, imagine 7 days before our election, the EBC said them doing a pilot project to try out some new technology for information gathering. 7 days before a heated election in a marginal seat. If all you wanted to test thing EBC, why you didn't call an election down in Debe that due about 11 months now and test all your pilot machine? Good evening. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Calling from Children's Water.
How you going?
But I think I'm for a first-time caller. I don't even know what station it's on there because I was stolen and I heard you and I leave it on that station. I don't know what station.
U97.5. U97.5.
That is the station on Sunday morning with the future.
Yes.
I didn't know.
That is all right. I'm glad when you were scrolling through your stop and you paused. So you're on U97.5. Hot like pepper, multicultural radio, and you're listening to DouglAR radio with Anil and Corky at the moment. And coming up after, you have lots of easy listening music to take you into the night. So have a great evening and leave it on U97.5 FM. 2-1 upon my radio voice.
Yes.
How you like my radio voice?
You get a job here,
Lord,
man.
I see a real like Marshall Lorraine Walker, boy. How you like she voice when she was on the Lider?
Yes. You have to bring her to some commercials.
Some commercials, yes. Lider, Senator Lider will organize that.
Very beautiful, yes.
All right. I thought you bringing she to do commercials. This radio, you know, is not...
You're beautiful and you have a nice voice.
That's why your wife will get you in trouble, you see? Where you go promise she? That you will not watch Nice Woman on good voice? The PNM come to promise. The PNM promise in Tobago.
Yes.
No, but to talk a serious point. Imagine the EBC.
Right.
Okay. Cocky use a man like football.
Right.
Cocky, we played a football game.
Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago versus Mexico.
Right.
Winner go to the World Cup. And FIFA say the game must play in Mexico at Azteca Stadium, 2,265 meters up in the sky. And that the referee, the assistant referees, the fourth official, and the VAR must be from Mexico. The Trinbagonian fans could only get 20 tickets, and the other 110,000 in Azteca is from Mexican. That the Trinidad and Tobago national anthem will be played on a tiny Bose speaker. And the Mexican anthem will be played throughout the stadium in all its glory.
Big sound system.
That game fair?
No, that could be fair.
All right. Well, the PNM control the EBC. The PNM put the niece of a former sitting minister as the head of the EBC. The PNM instruct the EBC how to divide up seat in Tobago. The PNM put the EBC to there. The EBC call the election, follow the exact equation of Rowley. The EBC chooses returning officers. The EBC changes the boundaries. The EBC now comes 7 days before election in Tobago to say they come in to check a pilot project with new technology that gives you fast information on who voted and who didn't vote yet in a marginal constituency of Tobago. They didn't even go in a heated election at the 6 hall. Them come in to test pilot project. But they have a by-election due down in Debe for the last 11 months. Right? And that is not no clear, that is not no easy, that is not no race, right? That is not no close race, that is not no competition. UNC go blow out PNM Day. Why you don't test your new thing in an election like that? That you don't know what the result more than likely will be 99.99999999999%. Test your equipment, test your new tech, do the pilot project in something that there's no risk of impacting or influencing or interfacing in an election. But no, the PNM EBC, it taking instruction from the PNM, come now to tell the electorate that they are going to conduct a pilot project, not in a safe PDP seat or a safe PNM seat, but in a marginal one which they believe may determine the election, them going inside there to get information. Now, why does this provide the PNM with an extra advantage? The PNM political machinery for 60 years is the best political machinery in the country, simply because it has existed for the longest time. It has fought the most as a monolith party, fought every single election. It is well documented. They have the most experienced electioneers. They have the people who know the counts down to the wire. And they have the ability and the funds to pull out a vote. So back in 2015, when the EBC said because of rainfall, we extending the election by an hour, but they only told the PNM, and they did not tell the partnership. The PNM was able, when you remember those results as they were counting, the PNM they were crying. They had gotten a licking. And then around 9:45 p.m., when that extra hour votes start to come in to the count,
Yes.
PNM just started to move up, and they turned tears into celebration. That was what that 1 hour did in the marginal seats with the PNM machinery, because they know how to go and drag out. They will know who didn't vote. They know Tanti Merle have 4 children who didn't go out and vote, and they will go and pull them out. And they have the resources, they have the money, they have the wherewithal, and now they'll have the on-time knowledge in a marginal. So by 10 a.m. when they see people ain't going out and thing, and they realize PDP go take we thing, they have 6 + 2, 8 hours to go out and pull out and drag out and use their machinery. They have a better machinery that is tested for 60 years than the PDP could have, only being in existence 6 years.
Oh my gosh.
But they come to interfere in an election that is close right now. Why is the EBC doing that? Why is that acceptable? Why don't they test it in some other election? Why don't they test it in a safe seat? Why don't they test it down in DB? Why don't they test it in other elections? Why didn't they say if they were going to do this, why didn't they announce it 40 days ago when election call up 50 days ago? Why they wait till 1 week out when Rowley is crying, Rowley in a tutu suit, Rowley come to just talk nonsense because he doesn't know what to do, because the blowout is coming in Tobago. And let me tell you something. The only thing that stops cheating in election is a blowout.
A blowout.
A wave of discontent that blows the cheaters out of the water.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Gerrymandering works when the norms, the societal norms, the political norms, the racial norms, the voting patterns remain the same, similar. So you see if you can put enough. What does the PNM do with the help of the media? And I thank the Lord today had no 2 newspapers didn't print. It's the first day in about 11 years that we only had to deal with 1 PNM disgusting newspaper, The Guardian. Right? So we got a little respite at least for 1 day. But what does the PNM do? Since 1961-62 with the Constitution, they gerrymandered the election. They make the East-West corridor. Eric Williams put race into the election 1 time. The whole rest of the country, them could do what they want. They could only get 12 seats, right? But he had 24 solid or 20 solid and 3 up for grabs or 4 up for grabs, right? So he set it up where he could win, and then they enhanced that through HDC where they put the houses, the house padding, plus the control of the EBC, plus redirection of boundaries and so on. So gerrymandering works if you can keep the norms as they have existed. So you keep black people voting PNM, no matter what nonsense, you come with promise, never mind you get cuffed 21 times for 21 years, they come and say, no, I wouldn't cuff you again, but we black, at least it's a black man cuffing you, vote black. So you vote black, and then you have your East Indian voting yellow. And you have your you mixed in between swing voters, right? Once you could keep those groups separate, and you can then create a position in the minds of the intelligent people, because intelligent people tend to swing vote, meaning if you are doing a good job, Corky, they will vote for you. But if you're doing nonsense and they can see and read between the lines and they're not easily hoodwinked by mass media that wants to sell a picture of a rosy picture when the place is in a mess, they will swing and change their vote. So they're not beholden to anybody. They're not beholden to yellow and they're not beholden to red. When those aspects remain the same, cheating can work. You can change a boundary here because the numbers will remain the same, and if you put more red polling divisions in that seat, you will win it.
Right.
What you do too is you try to put equity in the mind share. So Rowley corruption, Weber corruption, Rowley this, Rowley dictator, Rowley thing, people dying and so on. Rowley's the worst. But the media say Kamla too. Or UNC too. Rowley terrible, but UNC do this. Rowley is the worst, but UNC do that. Rowley are we dead in a COVID, but UNC, that's what the media does.
Yeah.
So therefore, you get a 6% of intelligent people who say, fire burn politics. Me ain't care about no politics, because everybody is the same. So I'm not wasting my time. They want to do that because when you decide not to vote, then their mass vote, their gerrymandering, their racial separation and division with their cheating equation means that they win. What is the only thing that could stop these cheaters from winning? A total wave of discontent that says remove them out of office and wipe them out. It obliterates all. It's like that game in Mexico, we say, and the Mexican referee, and the Mexican 2 assistant referee, and the Mexican 4th official, and the Mexican VAR official, and we playing in Mexico, and we playing at altitude in Mexico, and we playing with 100,000 Mexican fans, and we only have 40 fans.
Yes.
You know, it's the only thing that could make you win that game. If you had a team like we had in 1973 with Sedley Joseph and Gary Cummins and the boys from Library, if you so good, if your team is so brilliant that they score 20 goals, they disallow 10, we still win 10-2 or 10-3. That's the way, that's the only way you beat cheaters, by blowing them out, by eliminating the norms. So them cheaters feel, Johnny and we go vote so, and in Lauketa Talparo the vote will split 46-54%. I go in and show them 70% because I'm fed up of them. They suffering, we dying, we are no work, we fed up of them, we go cat spread them. And a wave of discontent sweeps them out. That's how you get rid of cheaters. Gerrymandering only works when the political norms remain. We're taking a short break.
Yes.
And we're coming back. Check out Fresh Start, Fresh Market, TT up there at number 3, Andrew Lane in Dabadee. As you pass Price Mart, you see a Royal Castle truck on the left. Swing in and park. Spacious car park for 200 cars. Fresh Street Market, TT, open 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. and on Sundays and public holidays 8:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Best prices, best deals, fresh vegetables. Do your market. All COVID protocols maintained seriously, vigorously. Check out Fresh Street Market, TT. get their phone number. Island Hobbies, Wrightson Road, just before Power Gen, where they're taking down those big steel.
Yes.
I don't know who getting all that steel, but just before that Power Gen 3, as you're heading east, Island Hobbies on the left, opposite Mad Montrichat, opposite the licensing office on the other side. Island Hobbies, over an acre of toys, every single toy that your children could want, anything they're seeing on social media or on the cartoon networks that they're watching, check out Island Hobbies, and they will match any price across the board for Christmas. They say Santa and all.
Shop
the
there.
shop at Island Hobbies. So check out Island Hobbies for your Christmas toys. 218-7762. So only a wave of discontent. A wave. And if ever anybody deserve to get a wave to wipe them off the political landscape, it is Keith Christopher Rowley. Everything he has touched, he has poisoned. He looked like he was wearing that tutu suit from since 2015 coming, and everything he touched, tutu stain. He has corrupted every institution. We're talking about the police commissioner, and don't personalize it, you know. Forget personalities. A prime minister must not determine the selection of the commissioner of police. Why? A prime minister is the most powerful individual in politics. The president of America does not have power like the prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago. The president of America has different checks and balances, the Congress and so on to go through, and the state. And there's difference between federal government and state government, and the governors and the state legislature and so on. In Trinidad and Tobago, a prime minister has total power. How's that? Because the Constitution, they control everything. They control every dollar. They could control every board appointment. They control every cabinet minister. They control every aspect of life. They control the parliament. They control who picked the speaker. They control who the president of the Senate. They control everything.
And the mics.
Exactly. You understand? So, the reason it is very important that a prime minister must not determine who is the commissioner of police is because the commissioner of police may have to lock up the prime minister. Because the prime minister, with all that power comes lots of responsibility and also lots of temptation, lots of opportunity, lots of avenues to do wrong if a prime minister so wanted or so desired or had the inclination to be corrupt. That power gives that person immense opportunity to steal, immense opportunity to divert funds in a direction that he or she wants. So a commissioner of police, to uphold the law and ensure that all are below the law, that no one is above the law, must not be selected by the prime minister. Could you imagine what we have now, that the prime minister is the de facto commissioner of police? So I in charge of all your money. I doing what I want with all your money. I spending it how I want, diverting it who I want. My boys touching the money, and the money just going nice. And the only person who could lock me up, I get rid of he. And I put a man who's my brethren, knock glass, hey, my boy, what's good? Me and you good. You see, we smile, we laugh, but that's what we have. Does that sound like it makes sense?
In countries in Africa, we refer to people like Rowley as strong men, not dictators. They are called strong men. That is what they are. They actually strangle the people rather than they govern the country. They strangle the people and they take for themselves and they ravage society. They're worse than a plague, you know. And we have to find a way to eradicate that plague. How we intend to eradicate that plague, we have to ask people to come out tomorrow and push back really, really hard. We really have to push back really hard tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
Yes.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Savannah, push back. Wear your colors. Black. Go and push back. Social separation. Wear your mask. Push back against dictatorship. Push back against Rowley. Push back against the PNM. Tomorrow, Savannah, Napa, 10 a.m. onwards. Walk with a sandwich. Bring your friends. Separate. Be careful. Monitor your COVID protocols. Social separation. Mask. Sanitize. Push back tomorrow. And remember December 12th. We're talking about a revolution. We're talking about the drive-in rally put on by the United National Congress. Get in your cars with your family and head down to the Day Bay Water Park, because this cannot continue. Our country is sinking. Our country is under pressure. Good evening.
Very good evening to you. I don't mean to sound disrespectful or anything about the Prime Minister, but the way he look in that dark setting with that suit, he looked just like a cop from Denny's funeral home.
I agree. That is not disrespectful. I put up the two pictures. He looked like they had a funeral home that had a man driving around in the back of a van. Rowley looked just like he. Hello, good evening.
Hey, Anil, good evening. How are you going, sir?
Hi, they fighting up.
All right. And Koki as well?
Yes, that's hi.
All right. This is El Socorro here. You may have spoken to one of my close relatives, a young brother from El Socorro now.
Yes. A younger fellow from UE.
Very conscientious individual. Big fan of yours now.
Yes, man.
But he now reached out because I was there a long time. Anyway, Anil, notwithstanding the Rowley politics, boy, I'm calling you out of concern for something, boy.
Tell me.
Allow me just a minute.
Yes.
On a couple of the 6 o'clock programs today, there's various reports of some really barbaric killings, boy.
Yes, in Laventille.
In Laventille, there was one in Faizabad, and boy, you know what was gripping, boy. I don't know if the nation saw it. When the man get killed, if you see what that child had to do it, boy, Anil. I don't know if you saw it, but it was
No, I didn't see it
horrific.
yet. I was out on the road, yeah. Tell me.
It's something you need to look at, because
No, it's
I
terrible.
wonder if the people in authority, if the accounting officer who in charge of the police service, and I hope, boy, I'm fighting to get locked up. You see, I say anything, you know, I don't want to say nothing if you understand, because them brothers and them, one minute they can't trace your phone, the next minute they trace in your phone and they come in. Yeah? This is the kind of barbarism that plague in the nation. 3 young black youth get killed. I'm not a black youth. I'm an old fella. I want to know what Black Lives Matter had to say. A prison officer standing by the side of the road with the child, and obviously some black youth come out and poke a gun at him and give him. They him study the man holding the child in the hand.
I did not see that. You saw that. I didn't see that video. I now heard it on the news. He had his child in the hand.
Check out Ian Allen's videos, boy.
Oh Lord, Ian Allen, send it for me. I will check it out when I reach home. Oh my goodness.
The young El Socorro fella go sell it for you.
Yes.
But here now, I thought we was going down, but we're not going down again, you know. We're burrowing through the mountain now, but when I tell you about lowness, this is a barbaric, sick, messed up nation. And you know what the government's studying to do? Give people tickets for guilt and property tax. That is what them have. Gangs and gangs of policemen stand up on the highway doing, robbing you down for property tax and tint in your car. Oh God, we reach by Anil.
We really reach.
Just have to throw that in the hole now, because it's not coming back. Good evening, sir, brother. You keep strong and all the best tomorrow. Watch out about them looking to make a lock up, eh? Only watch all yourself.
All right, my brother. God bless. Oh Lord, I was glad I didn't see them thing. Somebody had sent me some pictures. Although I don't like to see them thing, of some young people. They had some bad shootout Lavantia here in Faizabad now. Prison officer too. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Yes, what the caller said about the prison. I'm in Canada here, and I saw it on the Allen show this evening. These two guys drive down with a car, and he had a child with him, and they shot him in the chest, and he fell down on the ground. And the child she get delirious, and then another guy with a red jersey hold the child to calm her down. It's so terrible, you know, this thing, big broad daylight.
A girl child?
Yeah, a girl child.
Approximately how old?
Probably, I would say about 6, 7 years old.
Lord have mercy.
He was holding the child, and you know, and this car drive down there, and they just stop on the side of they shoot him. 2 shots fell to the ground. Well, I think he died at that instant, you know. Guys saw it on Ian Allen show here in Canada.
I will check out Ian Allen when I reach him. I'll watch it on rewind. The good thing about cable these days, you can rewind.
You know, Anil, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. What the hell is really going on in Trinidad?
Yeah, but what we have been saying that, and the Prime Minister does not care. And what was more important to him was to have no Gary Griffith. That was more important to him. So he didn't care. He collapsed the Constitution. He didn't care that he bring the president into disrepute. Once he want what he want to control a commissioner of police, and now all of us are under duress and fear down here. You know?
I don't
know what to say now.
We Trinidadians have become the laughing stock of the world. I live in Canada. I walk in, and I walk among a lot of Canadians, a lot of Guyanese, a lot of different other countries. And every talk you hear is Trinidad. 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 One of the guys that actually say, Ram, what is this really going on in Trinidad? I mean, I should speak very highly about Trinidad. You know, that our culture is so high. We are safe on the streets. Because what is happening? You know?
Thank you,
But
sir.
know.
Well,
I
you
don't
be
know.
safe
I
out there.
You
What's
know,
the temperature out there now?
Anyhow, you could get him here now, and he will send it to you.
No problem. What's the temperature in Canada now? When you in Ontario?
Yeah, Ontario, yeah.
What's the temperature?
This evening was -2.
Oh, Lord.
We had some snow last night, yesterday, Saturday night, and yesterday we had some snow.
Well, you be safe. Wrap up yourself.
Huh?
Wrap up yourself. You know all your Trini don't like no cold like that.
You know, you get accustomed to this 28 years, eh?
All right, my brother.
I want to find out, boy. No, I have property in Trinidad. I want to come and see about it with this property tax business. But I get a double dose of the vaccine.
Boss man, you want my humble advice?
Huh?
You want my humble advice?
Which number? The one on the
Wait.
screen, or any other number?
No. I giving you my advice right now.
Okay, hold on.
Keep yourself right where you is there in Ontario. We had Delta going across, killing we. It have Omicron coming. Look, and we have incompetent people, so always stay out there until them develop a full tablet to kill out COVID, yes? Because we have Rowley and Convent Girl. So me I advise nobody come here right now, nah? Blessings. All right. Good. No, I'm very serious. The #1 place to dead of COVID is right here in Trinidad and Tobago. How you gonna tell citizens come here now? But yeah, you don't care about nobody? Hello?
Anil.
Yes.
Here what's going on. I kind of like you, right? So one of the reasons why I like you is because I think you have an intelligence.
You're breaking up. Oh, goose. You're breaking up. You're driving or you're walking? Come back. Right there. Oh, goose. Where's that? Rowley jungling you out. Hello?
Yeah.
Right. Don't move. Right there. Yeah, right there. Don't move. Freeze.
Yeah.
Right.
No. The EBC, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Trinidad and Tobago, they divide the areas into constituencies that they have this thing called plus or minus 10%.
Correct.
Right? So the national average for a constituency is around 27,000 some hundred, right?
Yep.
Let me tell you about San Fernando, East, West, and Pointe-à-Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
The average of those three constituencies is around 24,000 voters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Pointe-à-Pierre is bordered by Couva South, which is almost 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
Naparima, Tabakit, Oropuch. These are bounded the San Fernando East and West constituency. I'm using that as an example.
Correct.
In God's name, you can move one, two of the polling divisions into those constituencies and bring it up to the national average.
Correct.
Now, anytime we get anything right in this country, the problem will never gain.
Correct.
Right? Now, if you look at the Arima constituency, which is going on in the north, right? You have Komoto Manzalina, you have the Toko Grande, you have Meeting,
yes.
right? Will be influenced, those constituencies on the East Coast, almost 30,000.
Correct.
Why aren't they pushing it? The Diego Martin constituencies and those bordering the sea line have to push into Port of Spain, bring the thing to a balance.
Why? Okay, but your information is so absolutely spot on, and they've put a PNM, the niece of a former PNM minister there, and they won't. Do you know, instead of doing what you have said there, which is purely logical, in San Fernando West, they are moving polling divisions from San Fernando East to shore up San Fernando West rather than taking from Oropuch East and so on, which is absolutely what should be done because they're up at 30,560. But that is what they have. They cheat across the board, and the PNM controls everything and nothing.
Left, right.
You see that plus or minus 10%? In other words, 20%. A constituency can have a 20% variance, a low one and a high one. That needs to be amended in the parliament because to win some of those marginal seats like Moruga and up in St. Joseph and so on, it's just a few hundred votes you need and you'll win a constituency. We cannot continue to have that.
Only way to do what you are saying is for every opposition person to unite under one banner all together to remove the PNM and then do the correct things and make the playing field fair. If the UNC, if people are playing that we continue the divide and rule and this little group here and this little group there, the PNM will continue, and each year, each 2 years, each 5 years, it becomes harder because they are getting entrenched with cheating.
You understand? No. The reason I call San Fernando East, West, and Pointe-à-Pierre is because the PNM has already earmarked Pointe-à-Pierre.
Correct.
As a seat that they must win.
And how many houses they put up there ready to come and gerrymander? You see?
Well, correct.
Exactly.
No, in Marabella East.
They come in at David Lee, yes.
Right? In Marabella East, they have at least 300 new voters that is going to be appearing in the upcoming local election.
Exactly.
Right?
And they're doing the same going further north in the country.
But I hope the people are listening to you, because you must not allow cheaters to prosper. And they are gerrymandering, cheating, changing boundaries, not living up to the independent equations to have fair elections. And that's why they do not perform. They see no need to perform. They see no need to make you happy. They see no need to improve your life, because they can cheat and win.
That's right. And when Shamfa Kojo said in the parliament and people started to laugh, it have nobody living
She
there.
lie.
Right? The EBC don't measure land and cut out a polling division, it has have people living there.
Exactly, she lied. It had over 4,960 people living there.
You understand? So, and then Rowley follow up that with he. I don't want to describe him as a kind of bacchanal. I want to use the word mama man. The way he's behaving in the
He's
parliament.
a mama pool. Rowley's a mama pool. You understand? Tell him Anil say so. He balled 72-year-old mama pool who need to run down little childish girl to get pum-pum or offer people job. He's a mama pool. I say it. Me here. Tell him send my letter.
Anyway, so I'll tell
Blessings.
you.
But you are brilliant. We will link up because you have all the information, and I hope that the citizens listen to what is going on. God bless. Thank you, my brother. And therefore, when you hear that a EBC taking instruction from a prime minister of how to divide seat, all you had to be mad in this country. I am the only one who could call an election. I am now controlling the EBC to tell them how to divide up the seat. So when all you finish divide up the seat, how I want, I go call the election, and all you find out that makes sense, cocky. That is a fair competition.
Is it why they say great is the PNM?
Well, that is why they could say it, because they could say that nonsense, and it don't matter whether they great, plate, straight, or fate, because they go in and cheat. You understand? So that's why they no laptop, no school, no education, crime, Lavanti, crime, no sport funding, no culture funding, no diversification, no gate, no education, close down MIC, close down this, no foreign direct investment, shut down Petrochin, and them could still be in a race. Them is the old team. Them is like you running a marathon, and them start is 26 mile you have to run, and them start at 14 mile. So them only running 12 mile, but you have to run 26. You must lose. 218-7762 as we're getting ready to cross to the United National Congress Monday night virtual to hear the political leader of the United National Congress, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar. We'll be crossing shortly. Right now we have the Honorable MP for Barataria Samoa, that is Saddam Hussein. He's on the mic. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Anil. Anil, it's sad to see what happened with the 8-year-old daughter, the 8-year-old child. Officer. You know when the man fall, the man was an arm, he had the lights of fire. You know somebody take the lights of fire from the waist.
Somebody take it.
Prison officer killed today, you know. 2, you know, 3 in the past week.
Wait, is 2 you say get killed today?
National security. All of them is jokers.
Wait. Is 2 you say prison officers get killed today?
Yes, 1 in Faizabad and 1 in Port of Spain.
And 1 3 days ago?
I didn't get it clearly.
And 1 earlier this week?
Yeah, the one in Valencia.
You see, boy, this is a serious thing.
It's a trend.
The 3 prison officer.
But what
the one who got killed in Faizabad was holding his 8-year-old daughter hand.
His daughter in his hand, and he get 2 shots
Yeah,
to the
and he
chest.
had a licensed personal firearm on it also. He didn't get a chance to use it. And they take it from him also. People witness that murder. And we have nothing from the Joker Hines. 1 pack of dunce. All of them, 1 pack of dunces. I don't know.
But you see, and this is the games they're playing while they're trying to protect themselves and put who they want. We don't need no police commissioner who taking instruction from any prime minister. Police commissioner is supposed to be so independent. The police service supposed to get information from everywhere. If you come and politicize our police service, how half the country go feel safe to give information?
And then put in a stupidity. I know Heinz. And that's stupidity as a Minister of National Security.
Well, they only put he there to get rid of Gary, you know.
Yeah.
And that is all because Hines is a Kobo sweat minister for the last 30 years. He never get a full sweat. All right, but you give me some sad. Sorry to hear that. You give me some sad news there.
Yeah.
So it's 2
That's
prisoners.
calling you from Beach.
Oh God, blessings. Only be safe. God
Yeah,
bless.
yeah.
Two, it's 2 prison officers. Get ready there. Check the United National Congress virtual. We're just waiting. You let me know when the leader is coming up. The Honorable Kamala Prasad Bissessa, former Prime Minister, former Attorney General, former Minister of Education, the first female Attorney General, the first female leader of a major political party in Trinidad and Tobago, the first female leader of the opposition, the first female Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bissessa, on a day when 2 newspapers have not been printed. I must say, I did not shed a tear because our media, mass media, I must say, if you could bond them, you have to bond them because they have been bringing this entire country into a slow death to our democracy. Because once the mass media is bought out, your democracy will die. Because incompetence will be allowed to reign. When you have a mass media who is fierce, independent, nobody want media. I don't want media on my side, Anil side, UNC side, Kamala side. No. Ask anybody in power hard questions. Investigative journalists. Get to the truth. Get to the facts. That keeps people on their toes. They have to do things correct. They have to move. They have to do things. They have to serve the people. And people will know that the mind share could change at any time and they could get vote out. So nobody is safe. Anytime somebody feels safe, like Selassie briefcase in power, they do what they want. They put a friend to spend all the money. They create a web of corruption. They create Inez Gate. They buy land from Howard Chinley in Bacalet and create that. They buy land from independent senator's sister and create that. They put their friend to spend out $4 billion a year and they put it there. Hello, good evening.
Is this the DouglAR?
Yes, man. Monitor it, Corky, and let me know when we have to go. Eh? Yes. Yes, man. Good evening.
Archie, yeah.
Archie, how you going, my brother?
Good. Saddam taking place at the boss today. So.
Oh, Saddam is the last speaker.
Yes.
But he nearly finished.
Yes.
All right.
So you have to continue the show.
Thank you, my brother. I will continue the show right down to the end. Okay, my brother.
Then.
Good information. Thank you there, my brother. How are things? Right. Give me an update on Victor Roberts. What has taken place? What is going on? What is he doing? Tell the people, Archie, and check out Atlantic down in Marabella for all your computer needs. Archie, tell me.
Yes, well, you know, Victor started all the way from close to Venezuela down in Erin, where all them Venezuelans coming in with the COVID. He started his walk from there. And he has walked all through the length and breadth of Trinidad and he has reached up to Curep interchange. And he's going to continue that march, that walk from Curep all the way into the savannah for the pushback and then to deliver that coffin to the Red House.
And what has been the response on this long journey and trek? And has he been drinking? How is his body physically from all of this walking? Is he holding up well?
Boy, Victor don't look like a human at all, boy. That man don't look like a human at all. That man walking, everybody falling down all over the place, people dropping out. This man continue walking. He better than that Energizer bunny, boy. Yeah.
Well,
but
we suppose...
very strange, eh? Every car passing, blowing horn, boy. So it seems as though a lot of people is in support of what he is doing there.
Well, excellent. And remind him tomorrow He is holding on. Tuesday, I will be in the Senate. So tomorrow you can get Victor Roberts here with Corky from 6:15 to 9 p.m. Victor Roberts will run the show tomorrow. We will be in the Senate debating. They want to bring economic zones. They want to make some zones for their friend and them to make more money, because them only care about their friend and them, their financier and them, their family and them, while the people suffer, Archie.
Well, boy, people vote for that, boy. People vote for that.
That's
anyhow,
unfortunate.
Robert's final leg is tomorrow, starting 6 o'clock.
6 a.m.
From by your friend KFC outlet in Curep.
Well, we're not buying nothing there. We're not buying no greasy thing.
We
not
buy doubles from
yeah, we go buy doubles from down inside. Buy the sauce and them and all them boys around there.
Yeah, and from 6 o'clock all the way to the Savannah.
All right, my brother.
So you could join in.
Yes, blessings. Well, I'll have to be in the Senate, but I might join in a little early. Okay.
Okay,
God
then.
bless.
Bye.
Yes, man. So, y'all can listen. You have a prime minister who says 2 cutlass vessels that he and his small pin went and buy, nobody asked him to buy it. It finally reached. They lie and say it was some grant funding, when it's a loan that you and your children and your great-grandchildren had to pay back. We had vessels parked up there that Kamla Prasad Bisesa had bought, 12 Dayman vessels, 2 Chinese vessels, and the next one, 15. Park up there, no diesel, no maintenance, graveyard. Rowley left it like that. Bring these 2 cutlass. They arrived 2-3 months ago. They now commission it. And all this time, the borders have been porous. In a pandemic, while telling the citizens to sacrifice, to stay home, to shut down, to lock down, to block down, in order to save themselves, the country, to rid the Twin Island state of the virus, the COVID-19 virus. And while the citizens did all of this sacrifice, state of emergency, lockdown, oppression of rights, no beach, no river, the borders were always porous. And Delta variant, Brazilian variant, came straight across from South America, straight into Trinidad and Tobago. And now we stand at 2,120 deaths and more. 100 citizens have died in 4 days. 100. And now Rowley says, we have the vessels, we safe, like Selassie I briefcase. Good evening.
Good evening. Could I get a number to talk to Anil Roberts? I don't want to go on air.
Oh, you don't want to go on air?
You're on the air right now.
790-8254. WhatsApp is the best. 790-8254.
790-8254. What's 790? Hello?
8254.
8254.
All right. Yes.
218-7762. 218-7762. Oh, you take that from the voice? Or is that the voice from where?
That's a live show.
No, I know the voice,
Yes.
but that look like voice Great Britain or something.
Finton Mumbo.
218-7762. Guardian opinion. Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard must now deliver extra security.
Yes.
So the Guardian is telling us that Keith Rowley has done all he can. He bought 2 boats, and therefore Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister, has done his job, and it's now up to the Coast Guard to keep us safe. Really, Guardian? Are you really serious? A man buy 2 vessels, and that is it. That is his responsibility. He had no other responsibility. He don't have no other work to do. He don't have to keep me safe. He don't have to get air guard. He don't have to get helicopter. He don't have to make sure the radar working. He don't have to ensure the Coast Guard have diesel. He don't have to make sure that they have a police commissioner so they could have roadblocks. He don't need to have army camps down and health officials swabbing illegal immigrants and so on. He don't need to make quarantine for illegal immigrants as they are caught. He don't need to do nothing. He buy 2 flipping boat, and the Guardian say, well done, Rowley. All you sick, yes? Hello. Good evening.
Now, she has no COVID. They test her for COVID, come out negative. But they left she there around the COVID patients for 2 days. Now, she came home Sunday. Good. After that, Wednesday, I'll make it short, right? Wednesday, she started feeling sick. So, but as long as in the water, because she, anyhow, Friday, she go to the bathroom, weak, oxygen level low. Now, took her back, she come out positive when they do the other test. So she got the COVID in the hospital because the first test proved negative the first time she went. Now she has to suffer with her lungs, with the water in her lungs. No problem for her to breathe because of the COVID now. And she's 68-year-old woman. I don't know if I could see my mother again. I'm not allowing nobody to see her. You understand? So in the hospital, she got the COVID. And she don't go nowhere. We do everything for her. You understand? We don't allow her to come outside because we know even if Sahara does, she doesn't come outside. She stays inside. So it's so much problem here because of this. So we really don't know if we can see mother.
Lord, and which hospital she in now?
She in San Fernando. They waited to transport her to Point 14 when they get a bed available.
They're going to transfer her with water in her lungs and COVID-19, difficulty breathing, transfer her from San Fernando to Point 14?
Point 14.
But I heard at Point 14, Victor Roberts and Tim Gopi Singh were advising that they're having problems with the oxygen system in Point 14.
I don't know. I'm sorry we even took her to the hospital to get that water off her lungs in the first place.
Well, you would not have known that they would be so irresponsible.
And she's about a year now, she has this water in her lungs. We always take it as a private doctor, and then it's a whole long story. So, we're just sorry, we regret carrying
How is her breathing now though with the COVID on top of the water? What is her oxygenation?
It's not good. Right now she must be about 80 to 80%.
80%?
Yeah. Not good, eh? Not 80% good. 80% not good breathing.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thanks.
Alright, well, wait, don't go here. You hit me some hard last day.
Yeah, because she got the COVID in the hospital because they have her around the only patients. The first day she went in, when they do the test on her, they have to wait 24 hours, they get negative. She stayed 5 days in the hospital, she come home, everything, the third day after she started feeling sick, and that was it. We took her back to the hospital, another COVID test this morning, positive. Nobody could go and see her.
Lord. Well, my brother, our prayers are with you and your mother. We hope that she could pull out, that her lungs will be strong. God bless you and your family. That is not an easy thing. I lost my mother at 66 years old when she in 2008, and it don't get no easier. So we don't want that. So we praying for all the best. So you stay safe. Take care of your family.
Thanks very much. And to all the mothers out there who all with COVID, all be careful. Just be careful.
Lord. No, Corky, don't worry with that, I'm telling you. Yeah. 218-7762. 218-7762. We're taking your calls. And remember to check out Island Hobbies, Wrightson Road, for all your Christmas needs for your children. Over 1 acre full of toys, bikes, skateboards, remote control, computers, games, Game Boys, Frisbees, every ball under the sun, every game, old-time game, new games, all kind of games, board games. Check out Island Hobbies, Wrightson Road. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, once again, the virus is not being spread. Trying, evil and wicked, they are the one encouraging the spread of the virus. And only that, all them young girls.
Good evening, good evening. 218-7762. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Anil.
Good evening.
First of all, I'd like to correct the figure today is 2,154. Yeah?
2,154. Thank you, sir. I was saying
Right.
2,120. I so don't want to count fast.
Oh boy. And another thing too, I'm sorry for the guy who has to take his mother to a point important, because I always say in Trinidad, ICU means immediately call undertakers. That is unfortunate.
And that's very sad that you are correct. It's
I'm
very,
telling you.
very sad that you are actually absolutely correct. And nobody seems to bloody care that our ICU is useless.
Yes.
I don't know what to say. Thank you, my brother. ICU all across the globe. I check in statistics. I check in thing. People surviving. People going 33 days, 35 days in an ICU. Hello, good evening.
Anil, boy, good night. Boy. Yeah, good night, good night.
Good night.
Yeah, bless up, yeah. I just said bless up, no, man. This man is a nasty man, boy. This man wicked, boy. 5 years in power, head to the country, not near fixing. Boy, this man nasty and wicked and evil, boy.
And on that note, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Mr. Anil Roberts?
Yeah.
I was listening to your show in the beginning, then I switched to the virtual report,
Yeah.
and I am back again to your program.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if anybody mentioned this point, but I was listening to the news last week, Wednesday, and it was mentioned quite clearly that the Sangre Grande Health Authority will be practicing what they call triage. Now, I have not seen that news anywhere, and I'm wondering if it is being suppressed. Because when you are speaking of practicing triage, what you're actually saying is that the doctor is going to decide who will live and who will die. Mr. Sawyerfat, that was all this was mentioned in the news. Mr. Sawyerfat explained this, that the state a patient comes in, that patient will be channeled to the COVID ward, and if the patient that is coming in, you feel that that person will not survive or they come in too late, that person will join the public health normal channel. So I am wondering if other health authorities are practicing triage.
Can I
Any
ask
comment?
you? Well, no, I am listening very carefully, and I did not think my evening could have gotten worse, but the information you're giving me is even more frightening. Can I ask you this question?
Sure.
I am hearing, and I'm hearing doctors and some people saying that people are presenting to the hospitals at a late stage, or when it's a bit too late, and that's increasing our death rate and so on. Can I ask you if you have any information on the public sector testing. I know that some people go in and get their tests in the public sector, stay in their quarantine, and they do not get their results for an inordinate amount of time, 48 hours, 4 days, 5 days. Could
Right.
this, while other people go to the private sector and get their results within hours?
Within hours, yes.
And
Now,
therefore
that is
they are
quite true.
able. Is that true?
What you have mentioned is quite true. People die before they actually get the results. But as I say, my worry is that you can't play God in a situation like this. The thing is, you can't just decide, well, okay, this person is not going to live. The point is, suppose you are wrong. You have sentenced that person to death. So I am wondering if the high death rate is not taking place because of this triage system. Now, I know in Italy, they practice triage at the height of the pandemic. In fact, what happened is that depending on your age, you were sent into the line to die. And if you were young, then you were treated accordingly.
But let
So
me
I
put
am
it to
saying
you.
that in this
Let me
not
ask you a
listening
question.
God.
Let me ask you a question this way. For such a small population who has spent $28 billion so-called on COVID-19, should we be in a state of such lack of facilities, beds, ICU, ventilators, options, that we are being forced to practice triage?
No, the point about it is that we are in this situation because of the way the government has handled the situation. The thing is, for a population of 1.4 million, we should have had not just 60 ICU beds. We should have had almost 200 or 300 ICU beds
Fully
to cater for the population.
Fully
And after
equipped with
spending-
ventilators and ICU nurses and everything.
Yeah, the point about it is, and you have a lot of, let's say, even if you have the junior doctors, you can channel the junior doctors to do certain jobs. But the thing about those doctors who are experienced, they should be handling, those severe cases.
Correct.
Those life and death situation cases. So you cannot take the experienced doctors, move them out, bring in junior doctors who do not have the experience. And in addition to that, to answer your question, what you mentioned about for a population of 1.4 million, I mean, our situation is really a disaster. The government has put us into this disaster. They are not thinking of the population. They are not thinking of the number of deaths that we have. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, they are all very selfish. I just use that word.
Can
They're
you
all
give
very
me some
selfish.
more insight? Let me put it this way. I love to fish, and I go out, and I don't know nothing about boats. So I just a fisherman. When they hook up, I'm going to fight the fish. But there are men who know boats, who I go fishing with, and they are able to adapt on the fly. They are able to sense any problems in the water, fix it. They could fix an engine even though they may not have parts. They are very creative and so on. I say that to you to mean I am getting a sense from what you are saying that going into an ICU is just not a mechanical process, that there is some sort of intuition that is necessary that only experience brings in order to impact and change different sort of treatments for each individual patient. Am I correct in getting that sense of that is what is necessary?
The point is precisely this. Because depending on the state that you are, you don't want to be treated by any junior doctor, any doctor that has not had enough clinical experience. You don't want that doctor around you. You want the experienced doctor who has had all this experience in handling patients for a number of years. In fact, and I mean, they would have at the back of their brains what the situation demands. And therefore, you feel more comfortable in a situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you come in there having difficulty breathing, and then let's say you have some junior doctor say, okay, this one we feel going to die, so we're going to send him so. This one will live, so we're going to send him so. I mean, and some of them are actually being given a death sentence because of the junior doctors that have to deal with them in the COVID ward.
Well, it is very sad. Thank you for all your information. We'll keep researching and keep trying to inform the people.
Yeah.
But
And
we
just
are in
one
a
last
really...
information concerning the research on the Omicron.
Yes.
What the Omicron in South Africa?
Yes.
What was mentioned last night is that the Omicron is not as dangerous as it is made out to be. What has happened is that it is more transmissible. But it is not as dangerous as the other variants. Yeah.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you very much. Well, we want to
thank-
learn about Omicron because one thing is sure, Omicron will reach here because
Yeah,
everything is reaching.
definitely.
Thank you,
You can't
sir.
get away. You can't get away. But as I say, I would hate to get COVID in a country like this, to be honest with you.
God bless. Thank you. Very good information. It's very sad information, but information is key. 218-7762, 218-7762. Check out Grand Cooler and Spa Resort in Tobago where they're relaxing. You may not want to go now with the election, but just after that for Christmas, take the family over there. And while you're over there relaxing in the comfort of the 5-star rooms, get down to the Waves Restaurant and Bar. Make your appointment and get going to Waves. Sit down in the evening time especially and look at the sun go down and the moon rise on the beach, the beautiful Grafton Beach, Black Rock Road, Waves Restaurant and Bar. Hello, good evening.
Hi, evening.
Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, turn off your radio and talk on the phone, please. Thanks.
Hello?
Hello, you have to turn off your radio or whatever you're listening on and talk to me on the phone, please.
Yeah, I'm listening on the phone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anil, you know, I'm speaking to Anil.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, why we don't help out the system? Why the government don't help out the system? Make the testing cheaper than it is now. To go and get a test is anywhere between 900 and 1200. If more people could afford to get it testing, wouldn't that help the situation? I mean, we know they can't deal with it, right? They're out of the depths with it. But at least more people will go if they could afford it. Right now, people have no money. Make the damn thing cheaper and let people, go for themselves and get some testing.
Thank you, I agree. They should make the test should be free. The amount of money we had, $28 billion, heritage and stabilization, they dipping in to do all kind of nonsense. Why they don't dip in, they take $50 million and buy tests and just have it there for people. Or you have people paying $900, $1,200, $1,500 for a test. Good evening.
Yeah, and just a conclusion. How come these young girls and women?
All right, we're not talking about young girls and so on right now. That's for Rowley when he looking to give out HDC house and so on. All right, have a great evening. And we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we're going to wrap up DouglAR Radio on this Monday in Trinidad and Tobago. Not a good time. Dark clouds all around. Pain and suffering throughout. So we take a short break and we come back.
Okay, Rudolph, make a right. Oh, hold on. This is...
Everybody sing freedom. Man and woman sing freedom. Everybody sing freedom. Freedom. Everybody sing freedom. Man and woman sing freedom. Everybody sing freedom. Everybody sing. As we move in this people's revolution, my brothers and sisters, let's all walk together as one. This revolution is about restoring our democracy.
Pepper 218-7762. We're hearing some terrible news on the crime front with no commissioner of police, a police service commission appointed with many PNM faithful, Maxine Atong, who dislikes UNC and thinks that any black man in UNC like me, I am a black hater because I support policies that encourage education, opportunities, investment in health across the board. She's in charge of the Police Service Commission. Maxine King also, business partner of Keith Rowley and Alan Warner. She's on the Police Service Commission. Yes, to create and to choose an independent commissioner of police. You all could believe that? The PNM has gone to the parliament now to put the order number 277 to say that no contract officer could be commissioner of police or acting commissioner of police or deputy commissioner of police. Very good. Y'all give Rowley all the control. You cannot go to your beach, you cannot go to your rivers. You're dying, your family's dying, people suffering, and yet some people still defending this clown called Keith Rowley. I don't know what to tell y'all again. I really do not know. 218-7762, because Trinidad and Tobago is at the worst point that we have ever been. And we're going to play our song. We're going to finish up this show with our song for you just now, you know.
Yes.
That will show you. That was sung back in 1978.
Lord Shorty.
But here, it's worse now than ever. Good evening.
Good evening, Anil.
Good evening.
Some people don't care if they have to eat salt and rice, but they want the PNM in power. That's how it is. They don't care if they have to eat salt and rice or rice alone. Once PNM in power, they're happy. Thank you.
How about good evening? And that's very sad. You are so correct, but that is sad because election is not about like a team, a basketball team or a football team. Elections have consequences. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Anil.
Good evening.
Yeah, you know the PNM tell stone at people, and they don't like they don't like it to pell back behind them.
Correct.
You know that?
I
yeah,
know
man.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But don't worry, I have a whole truckload of gravel for Rowley. Good evening. 218-7762. Sad news, crime front, shootout, deaths, murder in Laventille. I'm hearing reports of 2 prison officers murdered today. One was holding his child in his hands as he was murdered and gunned down. In this country.
Like you like them things, right?
Before we play Lord Shorty, I'm going to leave the lines open for one PNM caller to call and tell me one good thing Rowley has done in 6 years. One. I only want to hear one good thing, one cabinet note, one decision, one new policy, one thing. Aha, look up here anyway. One good thing Rowley has done, please. Hello, good evening.
Anil?
Yes, so I'm listening. You could tell me one good thing Keith Rowley has done?
No, but I'm calling it to ask you possible.
You call it what?
Can you look at Section 122 again of the Police Service Commission when you have time, and Section 4, and see if that swearing of the Commission was done the right way.
All right.
Because it speaks about that the President shall get a notification with respect to each person.
Oh, yeah, that's what the merit list. No, it was not done the correct way. The president breached the Constitution, and that was the whole issue that Kamla Prasad Bisasa was bringing up. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, one good thing the PNM do
Yes.
is to spread COVID all over the world.
Oh, Lord. You see, I really want Cocky before we play.
Yes.
Lord Shorty, who is later known as Ra Shorty I.
Yes.
Before we play that song from 1978, I want a PNM person in all seriousness. I am not being facetious. I am not joking. I want a PNM caller 218-7762. Please tell me one good decision, one new policy, one new idea implemented by Keith Rowley.
See if this is
Trinidad.
one.
Yes, let me see. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good night. Yeah, give me ball if you try it. One good thing.
You see? No, but we have to laugh because all PNM callers calling all PNM people in the car going down listening to you 97.5 FM, hot like pepper. Please, just one call. I'm not asking y'all. I'm not going to debate with y'all. I'm not going to discuss with y'all. I'm not going to check it. Just call and say one good, new, creative policy, position, one good thing Keith Christopher Rowley did for Trinidad and Tobago as Prime Minister, one cabinet note, one decision, one something, anything. I'll give it all you 1 more minute. And then, Corky, we're going to finish off this show with Lord. Yes. Look at here, Corky. Corky, we have it. This is the PNM.
This is it. Hello?
Hello. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, go ahead with our
and
Yes.
Now, this one thing, say one good thing you do. All you call and talk about food, say, so ask us that question, that stupidness. One good thing you do, that's what they'll be one. Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you ain't have one? Oh, look.
Next
one,
call.
look one. Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Yes.
He let you not pay any money, you and your partner, Daniel. $44 million.
The what? Have a good evening, eh? All right, you see? Nonsense. Absolute abject PNM nonsense. So thank you, Mr. PNM, for just ensuring that the entire country knows. Because there you are. You are a PNM fanatic. You have Balize all in your drawers that have hole in it because you're broken and you have no work. You cannot call here and say one good thing Keith Rowley do. You come to talk nonsense, fabricate and talk a set of lies on the radio. Nobody asked you to do that. You supporting your PNM and you're not ashamed that you cannot even call here and say, well, Rowley did this good. Let's go. Let's take in Lord Shorty. And things worse now. Listen to this song every word for word, and it's 20 times worse under Keith Christopher Rowley than ever before. Good night. Listen to this tune, Corky. Run it.
Mr. Speaker, I see hate. Mr. Speaker, I see bitterness. Mr. Speaker, I see acrimony. Mr. Speaker, I see animosity. And Mr. Speaker, I see a man completely out of control. Completely out of control, Mr. Speaker. That is what I see. And if you're forcing strong, Mr. Speaker.
In the hospital, yeah. And we can't hear a word from Health Minister Kamal. Whoa. Black dirty water we had to drink. Was I say clean, but it smelling stink. And my friend, the body, money ain't no problem. My friend, the shouting. Money ain't no problem. Whoa. Yeah. You can't even use your phone to dial a prayer. Yeah. All the phones in a mess and it's like nobody ain't care. Whoa. You can't even call the Prime Minister. He got the phones in the Gulf of Paria. My friend, the shouting. Money ain't no problem. Money ain't no problem. The AG started a drive to stop corruption. Yeah. All them wheeling and dealing big shots was in confusion. Whoa. They threatened to kill, but they keep on still. Suddenly stop, they pass a bill. My friend, they want it, money ain't no problem. My friend, don't doubt me, money ain't no problem. Whoa. Yeah. All them politicians today, they just full of smoke. Whoa. Only making foolish mistakes and calling it joke. Yeah. So much of people on the streets today, and we can't build a home for them to stay. My friend, they're balling, money ain't no problem. Hey, my friend, don't doubt me, money ain't no problem.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Our roads are the worst in the Caribbean. We have the most traffic jams you have ever seen. Yeah. When it rains, for the spending pain, them drain on the strain, so it's flood again. My friend, don't doubt me, money ain't no problem. Yeah. My friend, you're balling, money ain't no problem. Yeah. Public transport in this wealthy country so bad. Yeah. Trying to get home on evenings could drive you mad. I tell you, if you see buses park up by some key and 3/4 ain't working properly, and my friend, they're balling, money ain't no problem. Whoa. Money ain't no problem. Millions of dollars going down the drain. I tell you, the airline in a mess and they buying white body plane. Daga. People saying that this country bright, so much money and still nothing right. My friend, they're balling, money ain't no problem. Boy, money ain't no problem. Yeah, I tell you. The Archbishop say people in Trinidad to pray. Daga. That is why we catching so much hell today. I tell you.